Welcome back to Learn Astrology with Mary. My name is Mary English. You'll find me at www.maryenglish.com, maryenglish.co.uk, and UK Astrologer. And today we have a super guest. We have the founder of the Astro Moon Diary, and the website is astrocal.co.uk. Now, I've waffled on about the diary quite a few times on the podcast, and this is what it actually looks like. This is this year's version, but because we're now speaking to the person that actually created it, we're going to get a little history lesson of how it all started, and we're also going to be talking about her pocket ephemeris, and again, that's a marvellous thing that we need to know more about it. So welcome, Tina. Lovely to meet you. How are you today?
Very good, thank you. Yes.
Now, you said when we had a little chat beforehand that you got into astrology when you were sort of a little one. Can you just describe to me what it was like, that first discovery of astrology? So how did it happen?
Quite little. I was just going into my Saturn return. So I suppose now to me that is little because it's over 30 years ago. It was in 1992 when I was having quite a difficult time in my life with a close friend that died, and I was wondering what on earth was going on. What is it all about? And I went off to a new age holistic camp, and two astrologers looked at my chart, and it was so spot on, and they'd never met me before, and they just completely spoke all of the things that were going on for me, and I was like, wow, that's amazing. And it just all fell into place, really. And after that, I actually left everything that I was working for, and which was, it was a 9 to 5 job. I was a sign writer at the time, and I decided that life's too short. My friend died. It really did. It was a massive thing for me, and I just thought life's too short, and I left that and I went off and I followed the path of becoming more involved in those camps and those holistic events, and got involved with a group of astrologers, and that's how I then went down the route. So that was 1992. Now it wasn't for another, so it was 2004 that I designed the first poster. So all of those years later, I did lots of study and various different jobs, things like that. And then in 2004, I designed the first poster, and that's where it all started. But that initial interest in astrology and the initial thing that told me, wow, this is something that I was like, wow, it absolutely blew me away. So.
Cool. And so where was this campy place? What part of the UK? Because you're speaking to me from somewhere near the coast, yes?
Yeah, I'm on the south coast now. This was up in Gloucestershire.
Oh, up the map for me because I'm in Bath. Okay, so that's further up the map.
It was in Gloucestershire. So yeah, and it was an amazing group of astrologers, and they just enlightened me completely to astrology actually is. But that first reading was like, I was like, wow, that's amazing, because I've never met these people before.
And so they seemed to know an awful lot about what was going on in your life just from asking. Did they ask you your date of birth and stuff?
So my date of birth is the 13th of December 1965. And I think at that time I was having it was a Saturn opposite my Uranus and Pluto conjunction squared to my sun. So there was a T-square, I believe, going on at that time.
And so this was 1992?
1992.
Yes, you were having, because you've got a Sagittarius ascendant, you've got Moon in Leo. I mean, I'll be using equal house here, so when I'm talking about your chart, and you've got Sun in the first, obviously, because you've got Sagittarius ascendant. And at that point in time, you had Uranus Neptune conjunction in Capricorn conjunct your natal Mars. You had transiting Pluto retrograde conjunct your natal Neptune. So you had outer planets that were also retrograding as well. I think everything was flipping. Yeah, they're all retrograding. And they were all, so two of them were on your Mars and one of them was on your Neptune. So you had outer planets doing a considerable amount of stuff in your chart, and then transiting. Do Jupiter was going through Virgo, and your immutable sign, and Jupiter's your ruling planet. It was quite high in your chart, so near the 10th house, ninth house type of thing. And so when we're talking about enlightenment, we generally have to sort of consider things like Jupiter, because that's your ruling planet. So I would have
Yeah.
thought it must have been quite auspicious, because it is quite, not scary is the wrong word, but if somebody can tell you loads of stuff about yourself just from your date of birth, you sort of think, well, are they psychic or
Yeah.
whatever?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
So they also said at that when they looked at it, they said, "Oh, in around 2004, you will discover really what you're here for." And I
Mm,
think that that was then when Pluto actually went over my sun and ascendant, which are
mm,
together. So they could see that even then. So I knew something was going to happen that was quite big in 2004, 2005.
mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, that it was, I wasn't quite like waiting for it to happen, but when it, a couple of years after I did the first poster, I was like, wow, because I knew this was going to, it was going to expand into something more that I wanted to do.
And so what did you do your degree in?
So I did my first degree in illustration, and then I did a master's in digital media.
Ooh, so tell me, what's digital media?
Well, it wasn't quite what I expected it to be. I thought it would be more hands-on digital media, work, but it wasn't. It was all about the theory behind it, and a lot
Oh.
of it's absolutely really dull, which is why I did the poster, because when I was supposed to be writing the dissertation, and
Mhm.
anybody who's ever written a dissertation will definitely recognize this. You do everything but start the dissertation. So, yeah, most people have a really clean house, or they'll be organising something, and all the time you go, "I need to write the dissertation," and I designed the first poster, which is the circular one.
Mhm.
So that was my avoidance technique for. So I'd got into the computer graphics side of things,
Mm,
and was combining it with my art on my illustration degree,
mhm,
and then my interest in astrology was growing. And then by the time I did the masters, which was basically all about theory, I did it at Sussex University, which is a very theoretical university. It was pretty heavy going, and it was, I needed something to do that wasn't reading all of these books, which I
mm,
actually found quite boring.
mhm.
And so I ended up doing this poster, and it was just a, something that I did alongside, and then I wrote the dissertation. So dissertation around my designing this poster. Yeah.
Okay, so you designed the poster, then what happened? So to describe, because we're going to be like on YouTube as well, but we're mostly audible on the podcast. So just describe to me a little bit like this poster that you did. What was it like? What did it include?
Okay, so it was I decided that I was really, really bored of the long poster that just has the phases going down.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I was really bored of that. We had one every year, and I was really bored of it. And to me, we should be going, well, I work better in a circular way.
Hmm.
So I wanted to do something that was circular, that just felt a little bit more, how can I describe it? Uh, just felt more flowing and more real to do something circular. To me, it was important it was circular.
Hmm.
So designed that, and it shows the lunar phases going all the way around the outside. It's quite simple, really, but when you look at it, it does look a little bit overwhelming. But it's not overwhelming if you
If
know
you
what
know
you're
what you're
looking
looking at.
at.
Hmm.
So it shows all of the lunar ingresses. So every couple of days shows the ingress of the moon.
Hmm.
It also shows the solar ingresses, new and full moons, eclipses. What else does it show? No, that's it. And then you've got the months and the days that go round. So
And
it's
was
quite
it the same sort of colorway as your website? Was it like that dark bluey type of color?
yeah. Yeah, well, we still sell it.
Oh.
It's still sell. In fact, 3 years ago, to celebrate the I think it was the 20th year of the, so the 20th year, to celebrate the 20th year of the, so it would be 2 years ago, of the
Hmm.
poster. um I added the all of the planetary movements to it, so you've got all the retrogrades and directs, and now it's the planetary poster. So
Ah, ha,
I
ha.
do the lunar poster, do the moon poster, and then I replicate that, and then I add inside all of the movements of the planet. So now it's got everything. So you've got the choice of two, basically.
Cool. And then, so when you created that first one, were you selling physical hard copies of it or downloads? How did that work?
So I remember just setting up the website and going, oh well, we need to be able to sell it and
Oh,
create.
hold on. How did you even set up a website? I mean, this is
Oh
back in
well,
the day now.
yeah, well, this is back in the day, and this was part of my digital media training, which we did do some hands-on stuff. So I did learn some stuff, how to use web building stuff, which is very different now, because if you want a website now, you can just basically pick one off the shelf and change it to whatever you want, and then it's yours, and
Mm,
it's really easy to do. Back then, you had to like build it.
mm,
So
mm.
I built the website, I added the PayPal button on there, and did the whole thing,
Wow.
and sold it. And I remember the first order that we got, and in fact, the first order we got, I'd still we're getting orders from this woman years later, and in fact, I think it was something like 14 years later, we were still getting orders from the person who'd ordered first, and we sent her like a bumper pack, like a gift pack, and said you were our first order.
Oh,
Yeah, so we just want to thank you for being with us all these years. And it was such a moment when we actually sold something, and then we started to sell them all over the place, and it was like, wow, people really like them. So
mm,
did that for a couple of years. Um, and then we went on from there to do the Astro Moon calendar, which again is a circular calendar, which that lasted for 19 years, I think it was, and then we decided that that needed to come to an end.
mm.
So in that time between the first poster and the Astro Moon calendar, we through my connections with the astrologers from these holistic camps, because through that I then went on to coordinate the astrology area at Glastonbury Festival, which changed.
Oh, okay.
And from that, I had connections with our main writer and a lot of the people that have supported Astro
Oh, you
Moon.
hippie, you.
Absolutely. And it was great.
Cool.
So,
I know, because I used to go to Glastonbury every year because I was a volunteer for a homeopathic group,
oh,
and
right.
we ran the traveling homeopaths camp.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I was a trustee for them,
Yeah.
and used to go everywhere. But I'd go over to the astrology bit.
Yeah. That
Ooh,
was us. Yeah.
right.
Yeah. So within that, that was how I had, well, through the holistic camps, was how I had the main connection, which was with Chenka. And
Hmm.
she became our main writer, and she wrote for the diary and the Astro Moon calendar for all of these years. And it was with Chenka that we formed that what was going to actually go in the diary astrologically, and the sequence of how it was going to go. So she's been very much a major part. Well, she's been like the main part of it, really. And now she's retiring, which
Yeah, I
is
know you said
big,
sad.
it's a big deal. But that's okay. It's fine, and we all have to move on. And it's a lot of work. It's so much work that she's been doing. So she's not quite given in. So, and we've not quite given in asking her to do stuff for us. And if she can do stuff, then she will. But kind of don't really want to put too much pressure on that situation.
Mm. Because the diary itself has everything, astrological
Yeah,
stuff and
yeah,
astronomical things as well. So it'll tell you about eclipses and full moons, etc. And it also explains what I like for beginners, because this is a beginners podcast. This is the first few chapter type of things, and explain how stuff works, which
Yeah.
is lovely. You know how orbits work and eclipses work and etc. And it's very nicely written. But what's always appealed to me is the illustrations in it. And I'm so mad that at the end of every year I cut each little picture out and I use them as underneath my glass of water in the kitchen as a sort of I don't know, a table matty type of thing, so that it doesn't dribble everywhere. But the illustrations are beautiful as well. So you did illustration yourself, yes?
Yeah, yeah. So it was me. I've done most of the illustrations for all of the products for the whole time,
Mm.
because the other part of my life that I really love to do. So at the moment, I'm doing the diary for 2028, and all over the office floor is artwork that I've done, paintings, and then I go to the computer and I'll do a load of computer work, and then I'll go back and do some painting because it helps me not to have to be just on the computer all the time.
Mm.
So
Mm.
yeah, I've done all of those for a long time. About in 2024, I decided I needed to have a break. So I then got a very good friend of mine, Wendy Andrew, who's a really well-known artist, to do a guest slot for us, and then again for this year. For I don't know what year I'm in because we're selling 2027. I'm doing 2028. We're
Gate,
in,
and we're 2026 at the
yeah,
moment.
and I get really confused where I am. So for 2027,
Hmm.
another really amazing artist called Rachel Blackwell has stepped in and given me a break because it's quite a lot to have to do it every year.
Mm.
Um, I also have life as well as work.
Really?
So,
Can't believe you have a life. Yeah.
a little bit of life can get in there as well. So I love doing the illustrations, but I think when you do something over and over again, I
Mm.
could start to see actually I need to get this to be fresh again, and I want to
Mm.
have some inspiration, and for that I need space to be able to go and do that. So yeah, so I still love doing it, and I am doing it for 2028.
Eight. Yeah.
Got it for 2028 actually.
Because you've got quite a busy chart. You've got a grand trine all in, not grand trine, a grand cross all in mutable signs. So there's a lot of mutability in your chart. Because your Jupiter's in Gemini, your Saturn's in Pisces, your Sun's in Saggy, and then you've got the Pluto Uranus conjunction because you were born a little bit later than me. So you're born because your generation gave birth to, inverted commas, the Indigo generation because they had a Neptune Uranus conjunction. You've got the Pluto Uranus conjunction. That's a different thing. We won't go to Indigos, but that's a different thing. But you've got your Pluto and your Uranus up in your 10th in equal house, which is a high placement for them. And Pluto and Uranus are like generational sort of planets, but in the sign of Virgo. So there is a sort of a healing aspect. It's not a commercially driven entity that you have. And because you
Yeah.
say that you started out in those sort of healing fields, because I mean, the astrology fields are next door to the healing fields, if I remember
It
rightly.
was,
Yeah.
yeah. In the green futures, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So all that mutability, the other thing is that you're likely with all that mutability to get bored if you were to do the same thing every day. But then your moon's going to kick in because it's fixed. It's like, I don't want to change. So how do you cope with that?
yeah. It's quite difficult actually because I'm nervous of change. If I change anything in the diary, you'll get people writing going, "No, no, you've taken out da 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 da," and I'm like, "Oh no."
Mm.
It's like, yeah. So we'll have conversations about, "Oh, should we change something?" And I'll go, "No, don't change it." And I don't know whether that's me saying don't change it because I think people will be upset, or it's me that's actually, if it isn't broke, don't fix it.
Exactly. Yeah. If it ain't broke, don't. No, I quite agree with you on that.
But also it's like keeping it fresh. And I do like to try and do something different. So every year it's like I'll change the font even just to make it a little bit different. I think, well, I write all of the astronomy as well because I'm really into astronomy. So I do write all of the astronomy, and I now have a friend who helps me do that because it used to be me that was doing all of that as well. So yeah, that's all fresh every year. But to me, I like to change something about how it looks, but
Hmm.
it's a little bit. There's not that much wriggle room really in changing it because it's a format and that's it really.
Mm.
So I kind of see if I can do things like that with other things within it all. I've been for years trying to do this moon journal, and it's just will it ever happen? Because I can't seem to pin down what actually I want to do. And I think, well, I don't know, maybe it's just more astrology, not a moon journal. But
So
one,
Moon Journal, tell me more. What was the thought
well,
process?
one of the things that people always say about the diary, and I completely understand, is that there's not a lot of space to write. Well, the thing is that there's a lot of information to get in, and if you want to get a lot of information in, you're not going to have a lot of space to write. That's the reality.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to do something to go with it, and I will.
Mm.
I don't think it's going to happen this year because we're doing major building works on the house.
Mm.
And that's why I'm trying to do the diary early so I
Mm.
can have time off to do that. Um, but it's giving people more space to write. We work very much with new moon wishing and new moon
Yes.
intentions, and that
Yes.
is
Yes. So
really,
you've got a page like that because this is
yeah,
what month are we now? We're November, and we've got
yeah,
a new moon wishes in there. So that's how the page goes. So you have got this.
yeah.
This is half. Are we A5 this size?
It's just under A5.
Right. So we've got at least more than half a page there, which
Yeah.
is completely blank for you to write your new moon wishes in. Yeah. Uh-huh.
But I think that, the people do write and say, oh, we'd like to have more space. And I think, well, maybe something to go with it as like an accompaniment or something to go with the diary, which
Mm.
then use the information in there and then they can write in the journal. The one thing, yeah, and you can write your notes in the back.
You
So,
got you've got quite a few pages because the other thing to consider with because otherwise you can't make a profit. You've got X amount of pages which cost money. The more pages that I mean, you've got
that's what,
204 pages,
yeah,
like that's both sides of it. So it's 100 pages
yeah.
of paper, so that costs money,
Yeah.
and
Well,
paper ain't cheap.
and this was one of the main reasons why we haven't done the Moon Journal is
Mm.
that it's so expensive to have things printed, and we have everything printed in the UK. It's all printed in
Mm.
Dorset. We're very much into it being local and it being, as sustainable as possible that paper can be. I don't want to be selling something that's going to cost somebody 40 quid because
Mm.
I don't think people have got 40 quid. I
Mm.
would rather do something that's cheaper. So I've been battling a thing of how to make something look really nice but not be too expensive for people. And then I think, well, maybe I should just do like a notebook or something. This is the reality, is that people are struggling at the moment, and I've still got to be able to pay for that. It's astronomical, the print
Mm.
costs now. They go up and up every year, and we really try to keep costs down.
Mm.
So it's just been a bit of a thing for us in that, yeah, we're just going to produce something that's just really expensive, and just because it's got a flashy cover and actually it's just a book to write in. I don't know, and I just don't know whether it's worth it really. The
Well, you'll
diary,
have to put the message out to the universe and see what the
yeah,
universe comes back for you.
yeah, I know, and maybe it will happen, but the printing costs are so high, and I just think, I don't know, the diary's full of information, but if I did a journal that was just pages for people to write,
Mm.
yeah, it just, I'm not sure.
Okay, you'll come back to us on that. Now,
Yes, one day maybe.
yeah. Now, the thing is, the story I love to hear the most, because it's like a true story, is that there was a point in time where everything's successful, it's all chugging along, and then some nameless person, nameless, faceless, decided to do the naughty and AI copy what you were doing. So, talk me through how you even found out about that
Oh,
happening.
it was horrendous. So Kerry, my partner, she does all of the Amazon shop. She does all of the selling. She also does quite a lot of the design with me as well. So we're very much, an equal partnership in this. But I generally never have anything to do with Amazon or anything like that. And Amazon is a necessary evil, especially to sell in the US.
Yeah.
So to sell in the US, to deal with I mean, it's immense American taxes, and that's basically why we sell on Amazon in the US, so that we don't have to deal with the tax system because it's like hellish.
Oh,
Uh,
okay, because then Amazon will do it, yes?
Amazon do it
Right.
for you to an
Yes.
extent. We still have to do certain taxes, which
Mm.
I don't have anything to do with. Thank goodness.
Mm.
But so we sell on Amazon now all the way through sort of September and October of 2023. Kerry kept saying, we have a main seller, which is our seasons and cycles calendar. And
Mhm.
that's a really good seller. It's not a circular calendar, which I feel disappointed that people haven't been able to get their heads around that so much. But people do love the seasons and cycles, and I love doing it. She kept saying, I don't know why, but the the orders are down, and I'm not really sure why that is. And there's no reason for it. And, I can't see anything wrong. Kept looking. And then I always remember the moment that it happened. I was cooking the dinner and she said, oh, you better come and have a look at this. And she showed me on the screen, and there it was. And it was identical to ours, same title. It had the moons going round on the cover, and the artwork in the middle was basically an AI copy of my artwork, which just looked so horrible because you can tell when something's AI. You
Mhm.
just can. It just looks different. It's got a different feel to it. So we were just both absolutely gobsmacked. And they were selling loads of these at, it was a fraction of the cost. And
No.
yeah, they were based in China. They were selling them in the UK and the US. We had invested a lot of money because when you do calendars and diaries, you invest the money. These things have got a shelf life. It's like
Yes.
having food. If
Mm.
you get to February and you haven't sold them, that's it.
Mm.
They've gone on, you'll sell them a bit cheaper maybe later in the year. But all of that money that we'd invested was all going out the window. So we then entered it was a difficult time. We had one of our closest friends who, bless her, was at end of life up in Cardiff in hospital. And I just remember going up and being in the room with her and having to be in the corner of a room on my phone dealing with an IP lawyer in America, trying to
Mm.
sort this thing out. As every moment that went by, they were selling loads, and we ordered one. And when it arrived, it just had wrong information in it. So
Wow.
it had there was a solar eclipse or something in Aries or something like that. Now in the seasons calendar, I only ever put it'll be just a précis of whether you can see the eclipse or not.
Mm.
It's not an astrological calendar. It's more of a seasonal fire festival celebration, lunar. But it will tell you if you can see something in the night sky, because that's something that I put in everything.
Mm.
And it just basically regurgitated something that about Aries moon, and that was it. And it was like it was the wrong information. It even had the wrong time. It didn't have anything on it to say what time zone it was. It was just incredibly bad.
Mm.
Some of our customers even bought it. Now, for me, yeah, okay, all right, well, it's just money. You could lose all
Mm.
that money. But for me, it was more about our name and
Yes.
thinking that we'd made
Mm.
that because it was absolutely awful in every way. The paper was awful, all the images were awful within it. They'd even ripped off the poetry that my friend had written for it, and that was their downfall because with Amazon, so we went to Amazon and we said, like, this is a problem. I mean, you're just in like a computer system.
Mm.
Is anybody even going to look at that?
Mm.
They don't. You can't phone them. There's nothing you can do. You're absolutely at mercy. Very luckily, I had a friend who I studied with, who'd actually was my web host at that time, and he had been mentoring somebody in America who was a Amazon IP lawyer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Small world.
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really fortunate. So he was kind enough to talk through the process with us of what you needed to do to get these things taken down. And I think it's different now,
Mm.
but because they change it all the
They
time.
do.
We found out the reason they changed their rules all the time is so that the scammers can't find loopholes within it.
Yes.
Keep
Mm.
changing it. Um, it's an absolute minefield. So we found that they had copied word for word 10 words within,
Mm.
and that's how we got it taken down. And they took it down, and then within 3 days they put it back up again. with a different ASIN number, which
Oh,
it
yeah.
wasn't listing.
Hmm.
So then we'd have to do it again and get it took down
Oh,
again.
it's like whack-a-mole.
Yeah, they just kept doing it, and they did it in the UK as well. And yeah, I mean, it was just it was like it was awful. I mean, this was November, so
Yes, I got the chart. We got November 2023 because I was
yeah.
seeing, how was that impacting on you? And
Oh,
yeah.
because of what was going on with our friend, and then this was incredibly stressful. Both situations were incredibly stressful.
Mm,
We were just, yeah, I mean, it was indescribable, really, because we were just watching all of the money that we invested in this calendar and going out the window. We were getting, people thinking it was us that had produced this thing. It was absolutely horrible in every way. Neither of us were sleeping. It was stressful enough, the thing with our friend who then did pass away a few days later.
mm,
It was just a horrible time. It really was a horrible time. And I've never really looked at the astrology of what was going on then, but we did get them took down. They came back the following year and they did it again. Yeah, they did it again the following year, but by that time we'd trademarked the name, we'd trademarked lots of things, and we could get them took down again. But again, we'd get them taken down, they'd put it up again 3 days later, and then we'd have. So in America, when you send all your goods to Amazon, they all go to various warehouses. You send it
mm,
all over, and then they split them up and they go all over the place. So every time we got them took down, they'd have to go and take all their stuff out of these warehouses or get it took out, relabel it as a new ASIN, and then put it back up again. So it obviously started to cost them money. And I
mm,
think, touch wood, I think they've given up with us now. Yeah, because we were really on it, and we are on
mm,
it all the time. We're constantly scanning for, but what a waste of creative energy. I think for me, that was the worst thing. Was it was bad enough dealing with an emotional thing with our friend dying, but then the amount of energy that went into dealing with this situation, it made me really angry that we were, that was what was going on, rather than me being able to, create us be able to create the things for the following year. Hours and hours every day of scanning and dealing with lawyers and all this stuff going on. It's so easy. And, when you look at the company that did it, they basically were doing it to loads of people.
mm. Which
What,
doesn't
what,
make it any better, but I mean, but that's the whole thing about AI. I had 7 out of my 12 book series used to program AI. So I found that out through the Society of Authors, of which I am a member, and they just use it for free. There is some sort of payment that's going to American authors, and they're getting £3,000 to be shared with their publishers, if that's going to make a difference. But yes, the whole thing about that, because that was the law in the UK, copyright law, and unfortunately, when the internet happened, I don't even remember, right back at the beginning of the internet, there was absolutely nothing to
yeah.
stop someone from copying everything. I've had a book copied and put onto somebody else's website as theirs, an earlier book that I self-published. It is like you say, like a never ending. But then the other side to it is like people sort of say things like, well, just count yourself lucky that you're so popular that people want to
Oh,
copy. No, don't give me that one.
no, I had that. I
Yeah.
put it up on my Facebook. I can't believe what's happened. I'm so angry. All this. And then somebody went, "Oh, I'd take it as a compliment." I was like, "Really? I
No.
would take this as a compliment that somebody
Mm,
else is making money out of my hard work, our
mm,
hard work. It's
yes.
absolutely outrageous."
Mm,
And they have, in China, they have no laws against this. It's like, yeah, I don't know what the answer is, but
mm,
it's the same now, and we still live with that all the time, that can happen anytime. We're kind of thinking with the diary, there's so much in it that unless they actually copied it, page by page,
mm,
I think that's less likely to be copied.
mm,
But it can happen anytime. And so all the time with the business, we're like, we've got to have plan B. Don't
mm,
quite know what our plan B is, but
mm,
because at any point it could all be took away and there'd
mm.
be nothing. And when you're self-employed, you don't
Yes.
know whether or not you're going to be able to make enough money to survive that year or whatever it is. So
Mm.
it's a massive concern.
when it happened, so it was 16th slash 17th of November 23, Mercury was slap bang on your ascendant. So you were on the case, which is good. The moon just happened to be in Saggy on the
Yeah.
16th. The moon was in Saggy. The sun and transiting Mars were exactly conjunction Neptune, and Neptune's the planet that we'd be considering when we're looking at people deceiving you. But the sun's shining on it, which is illuminating the deception, and Mars, which is making you cross about it.
Oh,
Mm,
it was a really difficult time. It was so stressful. It
mm,
really was. But it got sorted out for
yeah.
that year. That year we'd also had quite a lot of stress with our printer as well. It just felt like a really stressful year, and that wasn't our UK printer. We decided to take our printing to America, some of the American printing to the US,
Mm,
and it didn't work out. And
mm,
yeah, we just brought it all back to our printer in Dorset actually.
mm.
So it's just better. So
Yes, and then you've got them on the doorstep as well that you can go and speak to them if something does go amiss. I mean, I
yeah,
did look on the transit rhythmogram to see what the outer planets were doing. So transiting Neptune was square to your natal Jupiter, which is in Gemini. So yeah, Neptune was transiting through the sign of Pisces. That was forming a square. I was thinking that's the deception-y type of thing during that year. And then later in the year, there was, what was the other thing I noticed? There was transiting Uranus was opposition to your natal Neptune. So, Uranus is sudden happenings.
that
But it's
was
the
sudden.
yeah, but the awful thing about it is that if you're a creative person, which you very much are, and you've made a product which isn't just a product, it's a combo of lots of different people's input and
Yeah,
stuff. I mean, I think it's amazing how you've managed to amalgamate so many different people into this one entity.
yeah,
Because you've got different astrologers doing things. It's a lot of moving parts.
yeah.
But my husband's been buying it to me for umpteen years, I think at least 10 or something as a Christmas present, and I can't manage without it now. It's permanently in the kitchen. It's like, where's my diary? Because it's got everything. And I could just glance, today's today, and we've got the moon is in Capricorn, and we've got things that tonight we've got look out for the peak of the Delta Aquids meteor shower tonight. These are
Yeah.
all lovely things. So I know that if it's a bit dark tonight, I can go out and have it's a bit cloudy at the minute.
That's really important to me that people do feel like if they go outside and they see something that they know
Yes,
what it is, because I think astrology and astronomy can be very separate. Yet to me, it's what grounds the astrology is for me to be able to see that planet or
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I just think that a lot of people don't really notice that. So if I can give somebody a little bit of information and they go, "Oh yeah, that's Jupiter up there," or that's then that's really good.
Yes, and at the beginning, I think it's at the beginning of the month, you've got what's going to be
Yeah,
happening. Yeah, so
yeah,
you've got your little the chart here with
yeah,
where the moon's going to go and then what's going to be visible, and that's useful. I always read that as
yeah,
well.
yeah,
Visible planets. So, for instance, this month, I think we've got morning is Mars and Saturn, at dusk is Venus, planets near the moon. Because I remember talking to somebody ages ago, and they just got into astrology just recently, and they said, I saw the moon during the day. And I went, yes. Because
yeah,
everybody thinks that the moon only comes out at night, which I can perfectly understand. If you read any stories when you're a kiddie, it's always the moon was twinkling at night. But sometimes the moon isn't visible. But this poor young lady was astounded by the fact that the moon was out during the day. She was making a big thing on it on her social medias and stuff. The moon's out, the moon's out. It's like, well, yes, it is. Because it just shows you how much do people actually look up at the
and
sky.
and it's like with social media as well. Now it
Mm.
can all get so sensationalized. I saw something
Oh,
earlier and it said, "This is the only time you'll see the full buck moon this year." And I was like,
well, yes.
we have a full moon every month.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah,
Oh.
so it can go the other way,
Mm.
that people can go, "Oh yeah, there's this amazing thing happening." And actually, well, it is amazing because
Mm.
it's beautiful to see it every time you see the moon. It's an amazing, beautiful thing to see, but it's not unusual. It's
Mm.
just that people don't like notice it. So I'm hoping that, that we help people to notice what's going on up there as
Yes.
well as what's going on up in here with it. And I just think that's really important.
Yes, I think it combines so many useful things. I'm always banging on about it because it's so beautiful. Now we need to talk about your pocket ephemeris, okay?
Oh yes, the ephemeris. I've got one here.
Yeah.
I've got one here. I've also got here, just to show you, I have got the 2027
Oh, bless. Oh, I love the tree on the
here,
cover. What cover have I
which
got?
is
This one.
just to say we are just coming to the end of our pre-orders, and we're going to be our release date for all of our products is the 7th of August.
Oh, right. Okay.
Did the
Cool.
7th of August just because we would usually do it on the new moon in August, but it's an eclipse. Now, I'm not it's not that I think it would be a bad thing, but I just sort of thought, actually, let's not have an eclipse as our release date for all of
Mm.
our. We've gone for astrological Lammas this year. But yeah, so here, this is the pocket ephemeris here.
Yeah. Now, what I liked about that was I'm a bit old fashioned and I
Yeah,
still use on astro.com their ephemeris. It's on my desktop. I've got all bits of software, etc. But
yes,
what's nice about this is that I can go to each month and I can see. But in addition, this is more info than you get on the ephemeris on astro.com. So we've got the side real time, we've got the sun in the sign, we've got the sun's declination, the moon at 0 hours, the moon at 1200 hours,
yeah,
etc. And then in there as well, got phases, eclipses, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. We've got the works.
yeah.
So what's lovely about this is if you've got a power outage, and you want to know, but not only that, you want to sometimes just glance ahead
Yeah,
to the coming year because I write a column, but it only goes out in my newsletter. I used to write it for the Green Parent magazine and then a local publication called Pugga Bar, but I just write it for my newsletter now. But I like to be able to see like this, how long is Venus going to be in whatever sign from this date? Because that's what I put in the newsletter. Venus goes into Gemini on the 5th and it'll be there until the whatever of next month type of stuff. Because then that appeals, because I only write sun signs, so that appeals to those signs of the zodiac. Yeah. And with this is lush, but with this as well, if you wanted to create a chart from scratch, like you were doing the old fashioned
the
stuffy wuffy.
old-fashioned way. I know. It's got the logarithms, it's got the tables of houses, it's got all of that in it. So it's a bit of a story how it came into being,
Mm.
this one. It wasn't that I thought, oh, I'd really love to do an ephemeris. Wasn't quite like that. um, it was a chance meeting actually. This was a chance meeting with Margaret from Wessex Astrologers,
Yes. Hmm.
um, who lives not very far from us in Swanage. And we were going to Swanage for some acupuncture, both of us, Kerry and I. And we said, oh, well, we must go and have a coffee, meet up with Margaret. I haven't seen her for a while. So we met up with her, and it was a really rainy afternoon. And she just was saying, I've got loads of really unhappy astrologers because I think this was January, February time this year, and they still hadn't got their Raphael's ephemeris. And
Mm.
she's a publisher,
Mm.
so she was having disappointed people. A couple of weeks later, I think she said, "Oh, they've come in and they've come and they're really badly printed. Nobody can read them."
Oops.
So yeah, so we'd had this conversation over this coffee. Um, she just slipped it in. She said, "Oh, it'd be really good if we could just do something like that." She said, "I'm sending everybody to you because in the back of our diary we also do have an
Yes.
ephemeris in the back,
Hmm.
which I put in."
Yep.
So I
So
put
then you
that
can
in.
see when the retrogrades are because they're highlighted.
Yeah,
And like in this year one, I've got there in blue, and that
yeah,
again, that's great. Oh, better watch
yeah.
out, Mercury retrograde, blah
So
blah blah. Hmm.
yeah, so again, it's that thing of people carry it around in their bag. They can just, any astrologer can just look up anything they want in that. So Margaret was sending people to us. And I, like, maybe stupidly said, well, yeah, I already do an ephemeris anyway. It can't be much more difficult now. I actually do understand the data. So
Mm.
I'm not an astrologer, but I have done chart calculation. I actually did start back in 1992, when I discovered astrology, I thought I'm going to do the course, and I actually started to do the certificate with the faculty.
Okay.
Well, I did chart calculation. It was just
Wow.
something
Nobody does it anymore. It's all
nobody does it.
computerized.
I do understand it. And then over the years of doing all the data for the diary and all of our other products, I actually understand the data and I understand solar fire and I know how to do it. So before I knew it, it was, well, this ephemeris has now come and it's no good. And people, she said, I wouldn't even send it out. She didn't even want to
Mm.
send it out. So she sent hers back, I think. Um, and we decided we would go for it. And then, boy, that was a journey. So I had a lot of help from Roy Gillett, who
Oh,
I
yes.
think,
Oh, Roy. Yeah.
yeah, he really helped me with the solar fire side of things. And then another friend of mine who's a top astrologer and knows all the data, my lovely friend Linda Day, who's a really good friend of mine, she also helped me a lot with some of the stuff in there that I didn't quite understand. And she put me onto a little book called how to read an ephemeris or how to use an ephemeris. It's a really old book, and I managed to get one off of eBay, and
Hmm.
it explained every single part so that I totally understood what, because I'm somebody who I need to understand what it is that I'm
Hmm.
producing. Maybe that's my Venus in Aquarius or something. I've got to understand the workings of these things, otherwise I
Yes.
can't put it out. So thereby ensued weeks of dealing with the data for this, but we did it, and I'm really happy with it. And
It's
actually,
lovely.
now, yeah, now I've done the first one. The next one shouldn't be such a big mission to do. It should be easier to do it.
Yes,
Or
because you've also already got the layout for it as well, because
yeah,
that's the other thing. You have to
no,
work out how many pages you're going to
yeah.
have and stuff.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, Margaret and I had a lot of backwards and forwards on, and actually, to start with, I was a little bit didn't really want to put the logarithms and stuff in, but she had Frances from the faculty saying to her, "No, no, no, we really need this." And I was like, "Okay." So she actually sourced that for me from someone else, which was really great. Um,
Mm.
I actually really enjoyed doing it. It was fascinating because I love seeing the cycles of things. And when you look at the data, you can see cycles. I go, oh yeah, I didn't realise that did that. And wow, yeah, look at that. That's got a particular cycle to it. So I actually found it, and I kept saying to Margaret, "This is what was it?" I said to her, "This is boringly fascinating,
Yeah.
or fascinating in a very dull kind of way, or something like
Yeah, yeah,
that."
yeah.
I did actually really enjoy doing it, and I've had so much lovely feedback from astrologers who are just really relieved to have something that they can read, and they're saying it's really clear.
It
I'm
is.
really open to any suggestions or requests for things to go in.
Mm.
I'm not a working astrologer. This is for working astrologers who want to put something in their bag that they can pull out for reading, and so to me, they're the ones that will be wanting to tell me what they want in it. If there's
Mm-mm.
anything anybody wants in it, let us know and we'll see if we can put it in for next year. So yeah, really happy with it. It was a bit of a curveball that came in when I thought that all of the work for 2027 was done and it had all got all of our diaries and everything gone to the and I was like, okay. And I was at the same time as I'd thought, oh, I'll have time in the spring to get the house ready for this build that we're doing. We're having an extension done.
Mm.
But no, I didn't get time off. So I went straight into that and then straight into the diary of 2028. So
But
it's
it's
been
it's
non-stop.
it's a useful thing because I've done a couple of podcast episodes on the ephemeris. I mean, I did one right at the beginning because the first 20 episodes on the podcast teach you astrology. You only need the 20 episodes, and then you've covered everything. Everything else is just in
Yeah,
addition to that. But the ephemeris, to be able to even look at one and understand it, because I've done a couple of podcasts to explain what that is. Then once you've got your head around it, and once you know your symbols, and you also know there's some maths involved and there's numbers and stuff, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. And I'm not a mathematical person. And I think if I can understand it, then there's hope for everyone.
yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's been an enjoyable. It was enjoyable to do it actually, and it was very satisfying. And it's just satisfying to know that we're doing something to, for our astrologers, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that, are out there doing it. So I've got a little thing in my mind, and because this is very much for those that like something written on paper, that
Yes.
like a book. to carry around. I haven't said this to Margaret yet, but I do think that maybe the next generation of astrologers may benefit from an app. And I can't see one, there's an ephemeris app out there, but it's not geared to astrologers who want to just look something up on
Mm.
the, so who knows?
Yeah, but I mean, you could have it as a PDF download, a protected PDF downloady type of thing, but is that difficult on your site?
Uh, you could do that. I'm very wary of things like that because to actually protect something is
Mm.
more difficult than you think. So,
Yeah, 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 I do know it's.
like
Mm.
password, yeah, you
Mm.
can do a password protected PDF or something like that. It's not really protected.
No,
People have asked us if we would do a download on the diary, and I've said no.
no.
It's really difficult to protect it, and before
Mm.
you know it, that'll be out there, and
Mm.
people selling it cheap as chips, and
Mm.
that's not okay with me. So same with that. I think the only way to make that digital would be to do it as an app.
Yes. The only thing is that now I talked about this on the podcast a few weeks back. I get umpteen emails from people developing apps, and
Yeah.
would I trial it and do I think it's any good? And I had a go at somebody recently who developed an app that was using AI to write the blurb, but there
Oh,
was no charts involved. It's like, well, the
nice.
whole thing about astrology is looking at a chart. I don't
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
know that I've got sun, this, moon, that, and the Venus and
yeah,
whatever house. I need to see the chart. Astrology is quite visual, but I mean, obviously, the podcast it isn't because everything is audible. But the
yeah,
thing is, the thing about astrology is you have to create this
yeah,
picture of
yeah,
what it is that you're talking about. And without that, that isn't astrology. And we can go way back to the beginning of astrology. And when they were doing their little things, that definitely was something that was truly written down, or you were observing to the sky type of stuff.
yeah,
But it has to be something that's visual. And I think,
yeah.
yeah, doing a app. Anyway, don't get me started on that. So
No,
what's
well, it may be that we go down. I mean, I'm sort of very much in the thing as well of encouraging our younger astrologers to, carry on that craft really, because
Mm,
with AI, I can see it being lost. It's just you don't know when you see anything on social media or anywhere
mm.
whether or not it's just been regurgitated from AI.
Well,
We
yes, I mean the thing on Amazon as well for authors like myself, there are AI books. They're just spam books. They're not
Yeah,
even proper real books. Yeah.
but we bought a load of moon journals and moon diaries, and when they came, it was the information within. It was like this is AI.
Mm,
That just that it's just mad, and
mm,
people don't know, and they're being given the wrong information because
mm.
AI is not actually correct a lot
No.
of the time.
Oh, AI, now I've talked about that as well because I covered the date when the first bit of AI was ever invented and went out onto the public. So I found the time date and yeah, yeah, that was a fantastic podcast. This was a little while ago. And the thing about AI is if you ask it something astrological, it'll give you a beautiful answer, but it'll be
Oh yeah,
completely
yeah,
incorrect because it can't predict. It cannot predict. It can only do what's already on the internet. Now, if somebody already on the internet has written a prediction about something, then it might reference that. But there's so much that it can't do. But anyway, I think too much conversation has been happening about what AI can and can't do, which has made us lose sight of what humans can. I loved on the fact
yeah,
on your website, you've got, is it called Humankind or Human Authored? Because with the Society of Authors, we've got a little thing that you can put on the book, and it's called Human Authored. So it's
yeah.
like made by a human and not by AI. You've got something very similar on your
Yeah, we
site.
do. We have it's 100%. What is it we say? I can't even remember what we say now. So 100% human or something like that.
We just get it. Hold on.
Is it? I can't even remember.
Hold on.
It's actually on our homepage.
It is AstroCal. Where am I going? Astro. Going to the website now, astrocal.co.uk. Yeah, because I was looking at that before we spoke, and I thought, oh, I'm so glad you got that on there because it implies specifically that, yes, so your little blurb says
AI free
100% human, AI free zone from the
from the heart.
heart. Yeah.
It is from the heart,
Yeah.
and all of the astrology is from the
Well, you've
heart.
got Moon in Leo, it's going to be.
Yeah, it is not regurgitated from AI, any of
No.
our stuff. You can tell it. When we
Yes.
ordered all these moon journals, and some of them were really expensive, it's like it talks in like a third person.
Yeah.
And
Mm,
it said something, they were saying things like, astrologers may believe that this date is this or something, and it's like what I say is I I experience this,
Mm.
or we are
Well, we're not
experiencing.
talking in the third person anyway. We're
No,
talking to each other.
yeah, we're talking to each other.
Mm.
So yeah, it's I think it's really important that we nurture our young astrologers who are going to be carrying this on as proper, human beings. So
Mm.
one of our astrologers that we really like to support is Jemima Caner.
Hmm.
Her dad, Jonathan Caner, was really supportive of us when we first started.
Oh, he was a star, Jonathan Kane. He
Yeah.
was lovely. He endorsed my Sagittarius book. I sent him a copy and he wrote something really funny for it, which was great.
Yeah, so he endorsed us as well for quite a few years, and now we have Jemima, and she's an amazing astrologer,
Mm.
and as she gets older and more experienced, she's just going to be amazing. So yeah,
Mm.
you've got to look out for Jemima Kana because you're going to be hearing a lot from her.
Oh, cool. Yes, because it was his nephew that ran his site after
Yeah,
he passed, whose
yeah.
name I can't remember. But I think he's a Libra. Can't remember.
Is
But
that
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. But I did know he had a daughter and that she's of age now to be able to do that. Oh, yes, I'll keep a lookout for her.
And she writes our New Moon podcast for us every month, and she does it beautifully. So yeah, she is spot on. So yeah, look out for Jemima.
I certainly will. Thank you very much, Tina, for talking with us today about the Astro things on. So the website is www.astrocal.co.uk. So it's ASTROCAL.co.uk. All the information's on there, the diaries, the ephemeris, and all the other lovely things. So run over there and check them out. Thank you very much for talking with us today. And I think I've got to say again, it's so beautiful. And I met a lady once. We were doing the Safe Bath Library campaign because they were going to shut our library, and a whole bunch of us got together to prevent that from happening. And I just happened to start talking to this woman, and we were talking about a certain date, and she said, "Oh," she said, I better check my AstroCal Moon Diary." And I went, "Oh, why is that?" She said, "Oh," she said, "it's really important. I've got one in my kitchen." I said, "Have you?" I said, "So have I," because I'm actually an astrologer. This lady wasn't, but this lady wasn't an astrologer, and she regularly bought yours, and she wouldn't do things if it wasn't sort of, with some nice stuff going on in her diary and stuff. She, "Oh no, I can't. We better not have that meeting then." I was like, "Oh, listen to her."
Uh, oh, that's lovely. That is so lovely. Yeah, it's amazing. I do meet people from all over the place, and then they go, "Oh wow, that's you." I'm like, yeah.
It's lovely, absolutely, because it's a joy to look at. It's one of those nice things. It's a real Venus thing, that you can actually touch. It's tactile, but the illustrations in there are so beautiful. Look at that winter solstice one. Look at that. That's not AI bloody generated.
It's not.
You know,
It's
it's
not. No. Well, I'm
beautiful. Yeah.
doing. I would say I'm two-thirds of the way through 2028 now. It's very early for me to be doing it. I have to do it because in 2 weeks' time I'm going to have such horrendous noise going on in
Bang
this
bang
house.
bang.
Not be able to work at all. So getting ahead, but I'm absolutely loving it. I really enjoy it. Even, all these years later, I think this is the 19th edition.
Mm.
Next year is going to be the 20th, and I still love it. I still feel inspired by it. So that's really good because when you start to feel not inspired, then it's
Mm.
time to do something else. So I'm still
Mhm.
inspired. So it'll be around for a while.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Tina. I'll put lots of notes in the show notes and we'll catch you later.
Yeah.
Okay, bye bye now.
You. All right then. Bye. Bye.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today, Tina. And let me give you all the details of how to find all these lovely products. Now, Tina's web address is AstroCal, so that's ASTROCAL, astrocal.co.uk, ASTROCAL.co.uk. Now, on there, she's got two shops. So if you go to the shop, you've got a UK shop and you've got a USA shop. So depending on where you're living in the world, it might be cheaper, better, quicker, or whatever if you're wherever you're located to use the USA shop. Yeah. But all of the calendars and the diaries and all the other lovely things and are on there. Also the where's he gone now? The ephemeris, okay, which is absolutely fabulous. Fab. The other thing I need to tell you is that the links will be on the show notes. the other thing I need to tell you is that I live in Bath, which I've probably said more than once, and I'm also a trustee for the Astrological Association, which I probably also told you about. And I'm going to be creating an astrology group in Bath that is linked to the Astrological Association. So it's endorsed, it's not funded by, because the Astrological Association doesn't fund, but they do support local groups. Now, we used to have one in Bath, I think it was about 20 years ago. There was one in Bristol, I think that was 10 years ago at least, but there hasn't been one in Bath for a hell of a long time. Now, if you'd like to come to our inaugural meeting, what I will also do is put in the show notes the link to where you can view where it is we're meeting, and click and go there and book your space. There's only 15 spaces, okay, because the place that I'm using, we can't fit more than 15 people in there. So if you'd like to join us, if you'd like to meet me and other people that are into astrology, you don't have to, and you certainly don't have to be an astrologer. You just got to have some interest in astrology. So it's a very low bar to admittance and joining other people, okay? Just an interest in astrology. Now, don't come along if you're some mad Christian that's going to be praying all over us and telling me you can't do it, type of thing. If you're into astrology, love to see you, okay? So let me read out to you the link of where to go. So the full address is as follows: Calendly, calendly.com/Mary, and then a little hyphen, Mary English, and then /Bath dash Astro dash group dash meeting. If you didn't get any of that and you can't see the show notes, then do ping me an email, mary@maryenglish.co.uk, and I'll send you the link. Well, the first meeting is the 1st of September at 10:30 a.m. at a location in Bath. So if you'd like the link and you'd like to join us, or you want more details, ping me an email, mary@maryenglish.co.uk. Mary@maryenglish.co.uk, or buzz over to calendly.com/Mary English, all lowercase, /Bath-Astro-Group meeting. And we're going to have monthly meetings probably on the first of the month. I haven't decided yet, but that first meeting is what we're all going to have a chat about, what it is that we want to do, because we're Bath astrologers, okay? So we'd love to see you there if you'd like to join us, and I hope you have a fab week. And one last thing to tell you is I've now changed my booking app. Equity Scheduling decided to slap on an extra 25% out of nowhere to my subscription, which I've had for 11 years. I refuse to raise my prices by 25% to account for that. So I'm now using a different booking app. So if you haven't been on my website recently, whiz over to maryenglish.com. You'll see the booking app on there. It's all pretty clear, but if you want to just click around and go, Mary, it doesn't do this, it doesn't, then please let me know, Mary@maryenglish.co.uk. So I hope you have a fab week. I hope all of that makes sense. If it doesn't, send me an email. I love you loads, and I'll see you next week. Bye bye now.